What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It is time for another Top 10 Countdown. Today I'm going to be talking about a band that you guys have been asking for from the very start. As soon as I started doing these Top 10 Countdowns, you were like, Strokes, Strokes, Strokes! And finally, we're talking about the Strokes, one of the biggest bands and the most important bands of the 2000s, even into the 2010s. They helped revitalize rock, indie, and garage rock. They're from New York, and they've put out some damn great music, and I hope that they have more great music to come. A new album is supposedly around the corner. We will see what happens. In 2016, they put out the Future, Present, Past EP, which definitely had a lot of signs of life on it. Definitely a comeback after their misfire that was Come Down Machine. I know some people love it. I definitely was not on the hype train for that one, and that is the only record not represented here today. So keep in mind this top 10 is all personal opinion, as is any top 10, and this one is something that definitely has a little bit of everything, I feel like. Singles, deep cuts. Let me know your favorites in the comment section down below, along with what you think of my list. Don't forget to leave a like on the video, and if you're able to, support me on Patreon. It's that top link in the description down below. It really helps me out and helps me keep making videos like this. Here's my number 10 pick. Taken for a Fool is a cut from their 2011 album Angles, and it's something that I was highly anticipating as an album, and it really did pay off for me. I think that I like that album a bit more than most seem to, but this song in particular didn't strike me at first. I was more into like Two Kinds of Happiness, Machu Picchu, a couple of the other singles like Under Cover of Darkness, but this is a song that really started to build on me, especially after I got into the music video for it, which I still find very fascinating. You guys saw the little preview there. It's something that stood out to me, and it made the song kind of come to life for me for some reason, and over the years it's just kind of stuck with me. I originally had this as an honorable mention, but it slipped its way into my top 10. I really enjoy the slow open to this song and the way that it builds in with that cutting guitar. There's a little bit of stuttered reverb on the guitar and Julian Casablancas' voice as it goes on, and that chorus is not so in your face and direct, but at the same time it gets stuck in your head, and half the time, of course, I can't understand what the hell Julian is saying. I have to look up the lyrics to these songs because that's their style. He's kind of buried in the mix quite often, and that did not change on Angles for the most part. But I love this song to death. It's something that comes out of the woodwork to be a fully fleshed out rock song that actually has a lot of charisma. The newest song represented on this list today is Oblivious. It's from 2016, and that EP that I mentioned earlier, it's a track that definitely builds off of kind of a stuttered guitar. It builds its way in. There's some synthesizers in the background as well, it seems like, and a lot of really cool bass work. The way that it all lines up with Julian's voice on this one, it seems like classic Strokes, but at the same time, it's built on it. It added a different layer that maybe wasn't there before, whether it be in the insight in the lyrical content or just the maturity of the music in general. It definitely does seem like a nod to their past, to their roots, but at the same time, they're not stalling out. I love as he sings on the chorus, "What side you standing on?" Basically, really crying out to someone, and his voice really reaches a different range on this one. It stands out because it is kind of in a haze, but at the same time, you want to focus on it because it's very entertaining. And the musicality of this track, it does kind of loop and go all over the place, but at the same time, it never really gets old to me. It's something that drives and builds and builds and builds. It's a high octane track in a way. There's a lot of energy here, and I definitely feel like you should check it out, especially if you're only familiar with some of the Strokes' earlier stuff. Whatever Happened. It's kind of disguised as a love song, but it's actually about fame. And as I've said several times before, I always love the introspection that comes whenever bands blow up and then write a song about what happened after their debut album or else their big album really took off. And obviously for the Strokes, Is This It was an international success, really all over the world, especially in the US and the UK. It was a massive phenomenon that no one really could have predicted. This garage rocky sound that was rough around the edges, all the guys had long long hair, and I think I read an article somewhere that said the Strokes were kind of responsible for everybody growing their hair out in the early 2000s, and I could definitely see that being possible. And obviously on Room on Fire, they kind of tackled it head on the opening track, Whatever Happened. This has been a favorite of mine for a while, and revisiting Room on Fire is always a treat. Really, any of their early records like this and Is This It is always a fun time, and this one just has the classic Strokes feel to it. Julian is really howling on those vocals. It's something where it's almost like he's shouting the way that he projects his voice, but it's not so volatile that it's just too in your face. It's something that actually lines up perfectly with the musicality of it. I love the guitars. They strike fervently on this one, and the bass work and the drumming has to be commended, because for the Strokes, it's not always the most complicated thing in the world, although sometimes I will say it is, and you'll see further on my list that does happen. But here, I do feel like the simplistic vibe sometimes almost pays off even better for them. This is another example of why the Strokes were at the top of their game at this time, and this is not a song to be missed. I think almost everyone knows this song. It had to be on this list because I too love it. I am not just so cold that I'm going to turn my back on it. I am actually still in love with tracks like this. I know it was one of the biggest singles from their debut album, but Last Night is something that is just an empowering night out on the town anthem, and it's something that roars to life still in 2017, just like it did in 2001.
Nobody can see me, everything's too easy. Standing in the light field, standing in the light field, waiting for some actress to say, why won't you come over here? Why won't you come over here? We got a city to love.
The winds of change were in the air in 2005 whenever First Impressions of Earth, their third studio album, landed, and fans were kind of divided on it, and I think still are to this day. And I don't think that overall it's that strong of an entry into their catalog, but honestly, this is one of those songs and one of those singles that I do feel like maybe gets a bit overlooked, or maybe catches a bit too much flack, because it is such a fun and solid and weird song. The music video is what initially caught my eye, turned me on to this one. I was watching it on Fuse, and I was like 13 years old, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? There's a dog, somebody's puking, and then David Cross from Arrested Development is here? What the hell is going on? I couldn't figure it out, but that made me that much more intrigued about the song itself. That bass line drives it the whole time, and the way that it just kind of echoes in the guitar, and then all throughout, it's a high energy thing. It has a great guitar solo, and Julian's voice on it is just really yearning. Why won't you come over here? He's singing on the track. It's something that all these years later still catches me just like it did the first time.
I said just take it or leave it, and take it or leave it, and take it or leave it, and take it or leave it, or just take it or leave it, and take it or leave it, I'll take it.
We talked about simplicity a few songs back, and on Take It or Leave It, it works once again for the Strokes. That simple guitar, da-na-na, 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 da-na-na. You think it would get old just shifting between those two chords right there, but it doesn't. It actually progresses as it goes on, but it steadily backs the track as well, and the fun and energy of the song is just so compacted. You would think maybe this is a song that's not going to sit well over time, but it's one of those that I feel like is recognized still to this day as one of the Strokes' best, and for good reason. It takes everything about the Strokes that worked in the first place and really just kind of spreads it out. And Julian's voice on this one is so commanding, and he seems like he's really in control on this track, not only vocally, but whoever he's speaking to. It's the closing moment on Is This It, and it really finishes this album off in a grandiose fashion. I love the guitars there, the way that they break down and then kick back in again just whenever you think this song is over. Definitely has a couple of twists in there that maybe you won't see coming, and if you've never heard the full song before, or even this album Is This It, please go do that now. Oh, what's that? You didn't get a chance to check out the record yet? Well, here you go. There's another little preview for you, and here is a song that you have to have on your radar. Yes, it's from 2001, but just because it's a little bit older doesn't mean that it can't hold up. This is one of those songs that for me is turning into a solidified classic. Is that a word? Solidified? Solidified. It's so weird to me sometimes to think about how apathetic this band can sound. The Strokes are just like almost like just sitting there like droning on. You imagine them playing, but at the same time, it's what draws you to the music. It's so almost like lackluster in a way that it's perfection. And I don't know if that makes any sense, but the way I describe this song to people is like it's got this steady guitar riff that almost seems a bit droll, but at the same time, it lures you in because your ear is kind of put to it and you're like, okay, what's going on there? And it just kind of dun 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 the whole time behind the chorus where Julian is kind of singing, and once again, not droning on, but it seems like he's almost a bit bored, but I love it because if you look into the lyrical content of the song, it all makes sense as to why he sounds like that. And I just feel like the Strokes' debut album is an absolute genius masterpiece of a release. It's something that still stands so tall to this day. If you would like to see my review of it, it is going to be linked in the outro card. God, what a shot of life this was into the arm of the music industry in 2011. I remember this came out during a very busy week. I was just starting ARTV, what was known at the time as Album Review TV, just starting to take that seriously. I was covering this album and obviously this single as well. And whenever talking about this in a track review, I almost couldn't contain myself. This was so long ago. This was like over 6 years ago at this point. But I love the song. I love the music video. It was once again something that was very kind of over the top in terms of how they did it and how it was directed and that sort of thing, and I loved it, and it made me love the song even more. I sat there just glued to it because it was originally available just as a free download on their website, and I grabbed it and played it over and over and over again. Those shrieking guitars, and obviously the guitar solo on it as well. I think Albert Hammond Jr. is just one of the guitar gods of the 21st century. It's something where he's just such a master of his craft. You have to sit back, revel in it, appreciate it, and also appreciate the lyrical content on the track as well, because Julian really had a keen insight on this tune, and it's something that strikes with a very, very catchy hook, a very memorable melody as well. It's always going to be stuck in my head. Somewhere in the background, if somebody says Strokes, this is one of the songs that's going to come to mind and start looping. Bow down to Albert Hammond Jr. This is his song, his moment to shine, not to take away from the rest of the band here. They all did amazing. The drumming on this track in particular, really just kind of the way that it drives the song forward in the background without you even knowing it. That's great, and obviously I love Julian's vocals as he screams like, how long must I wait on this one, over and over again before breaking down to Hammond Jr.'s amazing solo. It's so technical. The song kicks off in the first place on guitar with such a memorable riff. Honestly, I really had a hard time deciding if this was my number one or if my number one was my number one. It flip-flopped a few times, but finally I ended up putting this at the number 2 spot. I love this song. It is so close to the top for me. It's something that just shows how great they are musically, how smart they are, and how technically skilled they can get with the guitar, the drums, and making everything sound great even in a live setting. You guys saw the little preview there. If that sounded awesome to you, trust me, that does not do it justice. Check out the full song, listen to the studio version, see it live on YouTube and that sort of thing. And I do hope to see the Strokes live someday. They're definitely on my concert bucket list. Fingers crossed that they would somehow play this, although that's kind of doubtful. It's just one of those songs that blows me away. I didn't give it enough attention for the longest time, but here I am, praising it, loving it still in 2017. If you don't acknowledge Reptilia as one of the most important and iconic songs of the 2000s, then there might be something wrong with you. Seriously, this song is ecstasy. It is addicting, it is perfection, and it is the Strokes at the top of their game, just reigning over the world at this point. Obviously, this came out off their 2003 release, Room on Fire. This was the album where they were like, can we do this again? And people were doubting them, like, is this just a fluke? Is it a one-hit wonder or one album wonder with Is This It? And obviously, no, they left the question open-ended themselves. Is this it? No, here's Room on Fire, and here's exactly what we're gonna do. Now, the album's title actually comes from this track. Now the room is on fire and she's brushing her hair. It's something that I feel like kind of speaks to the apathy of some people, and then I listen to it more and more and pick up on different things each time. I always love playing this song on Rock Band. The guitar solo is so really all over the place, especially just in the background of the song. It's almost like a solo is going during the chorus, but it's really just Hammond Jr. tapping all over the scales. It's incredibly amazing. I love this track to death, and I cannot give it enough praise. Guys, please go check out all of the songs on my top 10, but obviously this one too. That caps off my top 10 Strokes songs. What did you guys think of my list? Keep in mind these were all just my opinions and my choices. Let me know about your top 10 in the comments section down below. And like I said at the start of this video, if you're able to, support me on Patreon. It's that top link in the description down below. It really does help videos like this keep coming. These videos take a lot of editing, not only from myself, but from my lovely girlfriend who you guys know as Infinity on Hannah. So thank you to her. Thank you to all the patrons, and yeah, let's cut to the outro card. My Patreon is right there in the corner of the screen. Another Strokes video right here, the Is This It review, and another recent video that I did on the channel right here. All of my social media can be found in the description down below, and other than that, I'll see you very soon right here on ARTV. Thanks for being patient waiting for this video.